Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video, and in today's video I'll be ranking and showcasing every single devil fruit in Blox fruits. This video took me a while to make, so if you guys could drop a like or maybe subscribe to the channel, that would be very helpful. So yes, with that being said, let's get right into the video. Okay, first of all we have 5 of these tiers which I will be using to rank all of these fruits right here. So starting off with the first fruit, here we have the rocket fruit. This one will be going into the trash tier. The rocket fruit is the most cheapest fruit and can be used by beginners to level up super fast in the early period of the game. But later on, when they get a little bit more stronger, the rocket fruit suddenly becomes pretty bad, and that's why I have to rank it at the trash tier. Swiftly moving on into the spin fruit, this is even worse than the rocket fruit. As you guys can see, looking by the moves, the rocket fruit was a lot better than the spin fruit, even though they are pretty similar in prices. So obviously I will be placing the spin fruit a little bit lower than the rocket fruit. Moving on into the chop fruit, I will also be ranking this in the trash tier as well. All the moves of this fruit are very bad, but there's one thing which makes this a little bit useful. Basically, any sword attack will not be able to damage you, which makes you very strong against sword mains. But other than that, this is absolutely trash, so I will be ranking it in the trash tier. Moving on into the spring fruit, this is going to be going in the trash tier. Looking at the moves, they are also pretty bad. It does pretty bad damage, so yeah, I have no other place for this fruit. Moving on into the bomb fruit, this fruit will also be going in the trash tier. As you guys can tell by the moves are pretty unique, but they are not really made for PvP or either farming. So with that being said, I will be ranking it in the trash tier. Next up, we have the smoke fruit. The smoke fruit is actually quite useful. I will be ranking this in the usable tier. This fruit has decent damage, and especially for beginners, you guys can definitely use this fruit for farming. So yes, I think this should be placed in the usable tier. Next up, we have the spike fruit. Yeah, the spike fruit will also be going in the trash tier. The moves of the spike fruits are very bad, and it's basically impossible to hit anybody with them. And that is the main reason why it's bad for farming and also bad for PvP. So of course, it deserves to be in the trash tier. Swiftly moving on into the flame fruit, this fruit is definitely going to be going in the good tier. The flame fruit, once awakened, is actually pretty strong. It does a lot of damage. Also, all the moves are spammable, so even if you are a beginner, you can definitely PvP with the flame fruit. And if we talk about farming, the flame fruit is also very good for farming, because every single move of this fruit leaves a burning effect, which also damages other players or NPCs, which makes your life a lot easier. So with that being said, I will definitely be putting this in the good tier. Next up on the list, we have the falcon fruit, and sadly this one will be going in the trash tier as well. Every single ability of this fruit is absolutely trash. You can't really use them for PvP or even farming, which makes this fruit very bad, hence I have ranked it in the trash tier. Next up on the list, we have the ice fruit. The ice fruit is definitely going to be going in the good tier. Back in the day, the ice fruit was one of the best fruits in the game, but recently some fruits have overtaken this fruit, and that is the main reason why this fruit has fallen off a little bit. But don't get me wrong, ice fruit is definitely one of the best fruits for beginners. This fruit has super amazing combos, very high damage, and also it's pretty easy to use. So yeah, this is one of the best fruits for beginners, hence I will be ranking it in the good tier. Swiftly moving on into the sand fruit, this fruit will also be going in the good tier. I will be ranking this a little bit lower than the ice fruit. The sand fruit has decent damage, OP combos, and also it's relatively easy to use. But before you use the sand fruit, you will have to do a little bit of practice, because it's a little bit tricky to use. But other than that, I will definitely put this in the good tier. Swiftly moving on into the dark fruit, I will be ranking this in the usable tier. Sadly, the dark fruit has fallen off greatly, and especially nowadays, it's not really that good. Since everybody dodges almost every single attack of the dark fruit, it makes it only stay in the usable tier. So yes, I have to rank it in the usable tier. Next up on the list, we have the diamond fruit. Diamond fruit will be going in the bad tier. Personally, when this fruit came out, I was actually very excited for it, but once I tried out this fruit, I figured out that there would be no other place for this fruit other than the bad tier. So yeah, sadly, I have to rank it in the bad tier. Okay, moving on into the next fruit, we have the light fruit. This one will definitely go into the good tier. Basically, for the first C, the light fruit is the best fruit out there. But once you guys get up to the second or the third C, the light fruit becomes a little bit worse, but still it is actually quite a solid fruit. So I will be ranking it in the good tier. Next up on the list, we have the rubber fruit. And oh my god, this fruit still does not have an awakening. Nobody knows when Gear 4 or maybe Gear 5 comes into this game, but at the moment, the rubber fruit is going to be going in the usable tier. Swiftly moving on into the barrier fruit, this one will be going in the bad tier. Barrier fruit is basically made for trollers. If you guys are not a troller or you don't like to troll other people, yeah, you will definitely not find barrier fruit interesting. Because looking at the moves, they are not really good for farming or neither good for PvP. So with that being said, I will rank it in the bad tier. If you guys are still watching the video till now, please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like my content. Anyways, next up on the list, we have the magma fruit, and this is our first fruit going into the best tier. The magma fruit is an exceptional fruit for doing sea events. By far, there is no other fruit which is better than magma for farming sea events. Also, the magma fruit can be used for PvP, but I wouldn't really recommend you guys to do that. There are other better fruits for that purpose, but if you are trying to do sea events or earn tons of belly or fragments, you can definitely use the magma fruit. Moving on into the ghost fruit, I will be ranking this in the usable tier. The moveset of the ghost fruit is actually very unique and super fun to use. But if we talk about PvP or farming, the ghost fruit is not really good for both purposes. So for that reason, I have to rank it in the usable tier. You can definitely use it, but it's not really that strong. Next up on the list, we have the quake fruit, and I will be ranking this in the good tier. Back in the day, the quake fruit was a unit. Basically, it was super strong since nobody could escape the last move of this fruit. But nowadays, especially with the mink awakening or the cyborg awakening, and especially with the pilot helmet, everybody and their mom can escape the moves of quake fruit. So for that reason, it requires a lot of skill if you want to use the quake fruit. So for that reason, I have to rank it in the good tier. Next up on the list, we have the Buddha fruit, and I will be ranking this in the best tier. Of course, the Buddha fruit will be going in the best tier since it is the best fruits for farming in Blox fruits. And recently, people are abusing this fruit and using M1s to defeat people in PvP, which is actually pretty annoying but super rewarding. So if you want to earn some quick bounty and you want to be a toxic player, you can definitely use the Buddha fruit for PvP. Next up on the list, we have the love fruit. I will be ranking the love fruit in the usable tier as well. This fruit is not really special, it's not really that strong for PvP, neither it is strong for farming. And you can tell that by looking at the moves. So with that being said, I have to rank it in the usable tier. Swiftly moving on into the spider fruit. I will be putting the spider fruits in the good tier, a little bit above the quake fruit. A person who has a lot of skill and experience with the spider fruits can be very deadly. This fruit is relatively difficult to use but has very high damage and also can be used in very strong combos. That's why I will rank it in the good tier. Next up on the list, we have the sound fruit, and I have to rank this in the good tier as well. I think I will just rank it a little bit below the light fruit. The sound fruit is very unique and can be very strong. All the moves of this fruit are very unpredictable, so if your opponent is a beginner or a new bounty hunter, you can definitely defeat him pretty easily. Just look at the moves, man. They are actually pretty cool and very flashy. So yeah, with that being said, I will be putting this fruit in the good tier. Next up on the list, we have the phoenix fruit. Phoenix fruit will be going at the top of usable usable tier. This fruit is not really good for farming, neither it is good for PvP. The only good part about this fruit is that you can heal yourself or your friends, which is kinda cool, but to be honest, in Blox fruits it is pretty useless. So for that reason I have to rank this in the usable tier. Next up on the list we have the portal fruit. This is definitely going in the best tier. The portal fruit is one of the strongest fruits for sword mains, and especially if you want to do some super difficult quests like obtaining the cursed dual katana, you can definitely use the portal fruit for your benefit. And don't forget that you can literally teleport to anywhere on the map with the portal fruit, which is obviously super strong. So with that being said, I will put this in the best tier. Swiftly moving on into the rumble fruit, this is yet another fruit which is going in the best tier. The rumble fruit is also another fruit which is very good for sword mains. The rumble fruit is very good in setting up combos, and especially if you are a sword main, you can benefit off this and become a super good bounty hunter. So yes, with that being said, I have to rank the rumble fruits in the best tier. Swiftly moving on into the pain fruit, and I will be ranking this just a little bit lower than the dark fruit. The pain fruit is very hard to use. Only super good players can use this fruit, and to be honest, it's not really that strong. For example, if somebody pulls up with a fruit in the best tier, the chances of you winning the fight are relatively slim. So with that being said, I will put this in the usable tier. Next up on the list we have the blizzard fruit, and I will be ranking this in the good tier. Basically, this fruit is good for farming. You can use it for PvP, but it's not really recommended, and especially there are tons of counters to this fruit which makes it pretty difficult to use. So if you guys are trying to level up super fast, you can give the blizzard fruit a try. Next up on the list we have the gravity fruit, and this one will be going in the usable tier, just a little bit below the dark fruit. Even after the rework, the gravity fruit is still not good. If you want to use it, you can, but I wouldn't really recommend it because it's not really good for farming or for PvP. So yeah, I'll just rank it in the usable tier. Next up on the list we have the mammoth fruits, and I will be ranking this at the top of good tier. The mammoth fruit is super fun to use, and it's definitely one of the best fruits in the game, but I don't think it deserves to be in the best tier. The fruit is very cool and unique, also has super high damage, and can be used for farming as well. So overall, the mammoth fruit is a solid fruit. Swiftly moving on into the T-Rex fruit, this fruit will be going in the best tier. The T-Rex fruit is actually very good for PvP. If you guys know how to predict your opponent, you can definitely use the T-Rex fruit and earn tons of bounty. Looking at the moves of this fruit, they are actually pretty cool and flashy, and they also deal tons of damage. I will definitely put the T-Rex fruit in the best tier. Moving on into the dough fruit, I will also be ranking this in the best tier. The dough fruit is definitely one of the best fruits in the entire game, and it is super strong. It has super high damage, also can be used to do some super good combos, and plus it's actually very fun to use, which definitely makes it stay in the best tier. Next up on the list we have the shadow fruit. The shadow fruit will be going in the good tier, but I'm not gonna be ranking it relatively high, since the shadow fruit is relatively difficult to use but has some insane combos, and that is the main reason why I will rank it in the good tier. Next up on the list we have the venom fruit. Venom fruit will be going in the best tier, just below the T-Rex fruit. The venom fruit is very cool and has the second highest damage in the entire game. The moves are pretty unique, and you can also spam them, which makes the venom fruit a super toxic but a super dangerous fruit as well. But yes, the venom fruit will definitely be staying in the best tier. Moving on into the control fruit, I will be ranking this in the good tier. The control fruit is actually pretty strong, but again, it is very difficult to use. But overall, the control fruit has high damage, super good combos, and to be honest, a super fun fruit to use. So yeah, for that reason, I will be putting this in the good tier. Next up on the list, we have the spirit fruit. This one will will be going in the best tier. The spirit fruit is very good for PvP, but for farming it's not really the best. And to be honest, for PvP the spirit fruit has tons of counters, and if you are fighting somebody who is skilled, you are most likely going to get countered and you may even lose the fight. So with that being said, I will be putting this in the best tier, but I will be ranking it at the bottom of best tier. Next up we have the dragon fruit. The dragon fruit has still not gotten the rework. Oh my god man, when will Blox fruit update this game? Basically I will be ranking the dragon fruit in the best tier, since this fruit is super annoying to deal with. It has high damage and also you can do some amazing combos with this fruit. And as you guys know that there is a big rework coming for this fruit, which can potentially make this even more stronger. So yeah, I have to put this in the best tier. Next up on the list we have the leopard fruit, and you know I have to rank this in the best tier. The leopard fruit is super annoying but super good for bounty hunting. All the moves of this fruit are spammable, and to be honest there are no counters to this fruit, because all the fruits which are very good at combos will struggle comboing the leopard fruit, since this fruit is very fast and has a pretty weird hitbox similar to the kitsune fruit. So with that being said, I have to rank this in the best tiers since it is actually pretty strong. And finally we are up to the last fruit of the video, which is the kitsune fruit. The kitsune fruit will definitely be going into the best tier. This fruit is just insane. It is super fast, deals super high damage, also can be used to do combos, and plus you can spam all the moves, which basically makes this fruit super annoying but super strong. So yes, I definitely have to rank the kitsune fruit in the best tier. So yes, that wraps up the video. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. And if you guys still have not, please make sure to join my Discord server down in the description. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next one. Peace.